When Germany's most experienced fighter pilots encountered the P-51 Mustang over European skies, they discovered an American fighter that fundamentally outclassed their legendary Messerschmitt Bf 109 in every critical performance category. What followed were the most honest and devastating pilot testimonies in Luftwaffe history, admitting that German aviation superiority had been shattered by superior American engineering and industrial capability. September 27, 1943. Jagdgeschwader 26, Operations Room, Lille-Nord Airfield, France. Major Klaus Mietusch studied the intelligence photographs spread across his desk with growing unease. The images showed a sleek, angular fighter aircraft unlike anything in the current Allied inventory. The reconnaissance report identified it as the North American P-51 Mustang, recently equipped with the Rolls-Royce Merlin engine that transformed it from a mediocre ground attack aircraft into what would become the most formidable fighter in European skies. Mietusch had flown 432 combat sorties in his Messerschmitt Bf 109 G6, accumulating 72 confirmed aerial victories that made him one of the Luftwaffe's most experienced fighter pilots. His Gustav, as German pilots called their 109s, had proven superior to every Allied fighter encountered during 3 years of combat operations. The Hurricane fell easily to the 109's superior speed and climb rate. The Spitfire matched German performance in some categories, but lacked the range for extended combat operations. American fighters like the P-40 and P-47 demonstrated ruggedness but could not match the 109's agility and acceleration. But the technical specifications accompanying the P-51 intelligence report suggested an aircraft that challenged every assumption about fighter design and performance. Maximum speed, 437 miles per hour at 25,000 feet. Service ceiling, 41,900 feet. Range, 1,650 miles with external fuel tanks. The numbers indicated an American fighter with performance exceeding German aircraft while maintaining operational range that German designers had considered impossible to achieve. The Messerschmitt Bf 109 G6 represented the pinnacle of German fighter development, incorporating 4 years of combat experience and technological refinement. The aircraft's Daimler-Benz DB605A engine produced 1,475 horsepower, enabling maximum speeds of 386 miles per hour and climb rates of 3,346 feet per minute. German engineers had optimized every component for combat effectiveness, creating a fighter that dominated European skies through superior performance and pilot training. Hauptmann Wolfgang Spate, commanding 2nd of JG-54, had achieved 99 confirmed victories flying various marks of the Bf 109. His combat experience, spanning the Battle of Britain, Eastern Front operations, and defense of the Reich, provided comprehensive understanding of fighter combat against every Allied aircraft type. Spate's tactical assessments influenced Luftwaffe fighter doctrine and aircraft development priorities throughout the war. The first encounter between German Bf 109s and American P-51 Mustangs occurred on December 1, 1943, during a bomber escort mission over Solingen. Obergefreiter Heinrich Bartels, flying with JG-26, intercepted a formation of B-17 flying fortresses protected by fighters he initially identified as P-47 Thunderbolts. The attacking dive brought Bartels within visual range of aircraft that clearly differed from any American fighter previously encountered. The P-51s demonstrated immediate performance advantages that shocked experienced German pilots. Lieutenant Colonel Don Blakesley, commanding the 4th Fighter Group, led 16 Mustangs in coordinated attacks that maintained formation integrity while engaging multiple German fighters simultaneously. The American aircraft exhibited turning radius, climb rate, and acceleration that matched or exceeded Bf 109 capabilities while operating at combat radii impossible for German fighters to achieve. Bartels attempted standard Luftwaffe tactics that had proven successful against previous American fighters. The climbing attack from below relied on the Bf 109's superior initial acceleration and climb rate to achieve advantageous firing positions before enemy fighters could respond effectively. but the P-51s matched his climb rate while maintaining formation discipline that prevented individual German pilots from isolating targets for concentrated attacks. The engagement lasted 17 minutes, during which German pilots discovered that their tactical advantages had been eliminated by American technical superiority. The P-51s could outturn the Bf-109 at high altitude, outclimb it at medium altitude, and outrun it at any altitude. Most significantly, the Mustangs maintained these performance advantages while carrying sufficient fuel for extended combat operations that exhausted German fighter endurance. December 5, 1943. Bartels submitted his combat report to JG-27 intelligence officers, documenting performance characteristics that contradicted established assumptions about American fighter capabilities. His detailed observations described an aircraft that seemed to combine the best features of multiple fighter designs while eliminating traditional performance compromises. The technical analysis requested immediate investigation of P-51 performance claims and tactical countermeasures. Major Gerhard Schröpel, Geschwader Commodore of JG-26, convened emergency meetings with his group in Kommandira to analyze mounting reports of superior American fighter performance. Combat veterans with hundreds of sorties described encounters where German tactical advantages had been negated by P-51 capabilities that exceeded Bf-109 specifications in every critical category. The testimonies suggested fundamental shifts in air superiority that threatened Luftwaffe operational effectiveness. The mathematical analysis was devastating for German fighter doctrine. P-51 maximum speed exceeded Bf-109 G6 performance by 51 miles per hour, providing decisive advantages in pursuit and escape scenarios. P-51 service ceiling exceeded German capabilities by 6,400 feet, enabling American fighters to control engagement altitudes. Most critically, P-51 operational range exceeded German capabilities by over 800 miles, allowing American escorts to accompany bombers throughout missions that German interceptors could not sustain. Hauptmann Georg Peter Eder, JG-26's most experienced pilot, with 78 confirmed victories, conducted detailed analysis of P-51 combat characteristics observed during multiple engagements. His technical assessment identified specific performance advantages that eliminated traditional German tactical options. The P-51 could outclimb German fighters above 20,000 feet, outturn them above 25,000 feet, and out-accelerate them in diving attacks from any altitude. December 20, 1943. The largest air battle of the European war to date demonstrated P-51's superiority through decisive tactical results. Over 700 German fighters intercepted American bombing formations protected by 200 P-51 Mustangs in airspace extending from the Dutch coast to central Germany. The engagement provided comprehensive comparison of aircraft performance under optimal conditions for German defensive tactics.
Major Walter Nowotny, leading elements of JG-54, attempted coordinated attacks using proven tactics that had achieved consistent success against previous American escort fighters. The German formations approached for maximum altitude, utilizing superior climb performance to achieve energy advantages before initiating high-speed diving attacks. But P-51s maintained formation integrity while climbing to meet German attackers, negating altitude advantages that formed the foundation of Luftwaffe interceptor tactics. The combat results were unprecedented in their one-sidedness. German fighters achieved 14 confirmed victories against American bombers and fighters, while losing 47 aircraft to P-51s and bomber defensive fire. The exchange ratio represented complete reversal of previous air superiority calculations, suggesting that German fighter effectiveness had been fundamentally compromised by American technical advances. Oberst Johannes Steinhoff, one of Germany's most decorated fighter pilots, submitted detailed analysis of P-51 tactical advantages that eliminated traditional German fighter superiority. His report documented American fighters that could engage German formations on equal terms while maintaining operational endurance that enabled sustained combat throughout extended missions. German fighters, optimized for short-duration interceptor operations, could not match American operational flexibility. The pilot testimonies emerging from December engagements provided devastating assessments of German fighter obsolescence. Hauptmann Heinrich Erler reported P-51 performance that exceeded Bf-109 capabilities in every measurement category relevant to air combat effectiveness. American fighters demonstrated superior speed, climb rate, turning radius, acceleration, and operational range, while maintaining tactical coordination that German pilots could not counter through individual excellence. January 11, 1944. Luftwaffe High Command received comprehensive intelligence analysis of P-51 Mustang capabilities that confirmed pilot reports of American fighter superiority. The technical assessment documented an enemy aircraft that represented revolutionary advances in aerodynamics, engine technology, and systems integration. German engineers concluded that matching P-51 performance would require complete redesign of fighter aircraft using technologies that exceeded current German industrial capabilities. The Focke-Wulf 190 offered some performance advantages over the Bf-109, but even Germany's most advanced fighter could not match P-51 capabilities in critical performance categories. Major Kurt Bulligan, JG-2's leading ace with 112 confirmed victories, reported that his FW-190A8 could match P-51 performance at low altitude, but remained inferior above 25,000 feet, where most bomber escort missions occurred. The altitude advantage enabled P-51s to control engagement conditions while maintaining energy advantages throughout combat. Technical analysis revealed the engineering innovations that made P-51's superiority possible. The Packard-built Merlin engine provided 1,695 horsepower while consuming fuel more efficiently than German engines of comparable power output. Advanced supercharger design maintained power output at altitudes where German engines experienced significant performance degradation. Aerodynamic refinements reduced drag coefficients below German fighter standards while maintaining structural integrity under high G maneuvering loads. The laminar flow wing design represented the most significant aerodynamic advance in fighter aircraft development. Wind tunnel testing and mathematical analysis had produced wing sections that maintained smooth airflow at speeds and altitudes where conventional designs experienced performance-degrading turbulence. German engineers possessed theoretical knowledge of laminar flow principles, but lacked industrial capabilities to manufacture wings meeting the precision tolerances required for practical application. February 14, 1944. Valentine's Day brought no love for German fighter pilots as Major James Howard, flying alone in his P-51B, engaged an entire staffel of Bf-109s attacking B-17 bombers over Oschersleben. Howard's single-handed defense of the bomber formation demonstrated P-51 performance advantages that enabled one American pilot to defeat multiple German fighters through superior aircraft capabilities rather than exceptional individual skill. The engagement lasted over 30 minutes, during which Howard achieved confirmed victories against 4 German fighters while preventing successful attacks on the bomber formation. His tactical success relied on P-51 performance advantages that enabled rapid repositioning, sustained high-altitude combat, and ammunition conservation through precise gunnery. German pilots reported individual combat skills comparable to their own, but operating aircraft with decisive technical superiority. Lieutenant Franz Stigler, flying his Bf-109 G6 during the Oschersleben mission, witnessed Howard's performance with professional admiration and growing tactical concern. Stigler had achieved 28 confirmed victories through aggressive tactics and exceptional flying skills, but recognized that German fighter advantages were being systematically eliminated by American technological advances. His post-mission report documented P-51 capabilities that exceeded German fighter performance by margins too significant to overcome through pilot skill alone. The psychological impact on German fighter pilots was becoming as significant as the tactical disadvantages. Veterans with hundreds of combat sorties reported declining confidence in aircraft that had previously provided decisive advantages over Allied fighters. The realization that American industry had produced fighters superior to German designs created morale problems that affected operational effectiveness beyond immediate technical limitations. March 6, 1944. The first daylight raid on Berlin by American bombers protected by P-51 escorts demonstrated the strategic implications of American fighter superiority. German defensive planning had assumed that operational range limitations would prevent effective escort coverage over central Germany. The appearance of P-51s over Berlin proved that American fighters could accompany bombers throughout missions that exceeded German interceptor capabilities. Oberst Hannes Trottloft, inspector of fighters for the Luftwaffe, observed the Berlin raid from JG-54's Operations Center while monitoring radio communications between German interceptor formations. Pilot reports described P-51s maintaining formation discipline and combat effectiveness throughout missions lasting over 7 hours. German fighters, optimized for short-duration interceptor operations, could not match American operational flexibility.
Major Erich Rudorfer, JG-54's most successful pilot, with 210 confirmed victories, submitted detailed analysis of tactical options available to German fighters facing P-51 escorts. His assessment concluded that traditional Luftwaffe tactics required modification to address American fighter advantages that eliminated German performance superiority. The recommendations emphasized coordinated attacks and energy conservation to maximize German effectiveness against superior opponents. April 8, 1944. Combat over Brunswick provided the most comprehensive tactical analysis of P-51 versus Bf-109 performance under optimal conditions for German defensive operations. Clear weather, advance warning, and concentrated fighter strength enabled German forces to conduct coordinated attacks using proven tactics against American bomber formations protected by experienced P-51 pilots. The results confirmed German pilot assessments of American fighter superiority through decisive tactical outcomes. P-51s achieved air superiority over the target area while maintaining bomber escort effectiveness throughout the mission. German fighters achieved minimal success against escorted formations while suffering losses that reduced operational strength below sustainable levels. The exchange ratios demonstrated mathematical inevitability of German fighter force attrition under continued operations against P-51 equipped formations. Hauptmann Emil Lang, JG-54's leading ace with 173 confirmed victories, provided the most detailed tactical analysis of P-51 combat advantages. His report documented American fighters that could engage German formations using energy tactics previously available only to German pilots. The P-51s could initiate combat from superior altitude and speed while maintaining these advantages throughout extended engagements through superior climb rate and acceleration. Technical evaluation revealed specific design features that provided P-51 superiority over German fighter aircraft. The cooling system design enabled sustained high-power operation at altitudes where German engines experienced overheating problems. Fuel system design provided consistent engine performance during high-G maneuvering that caused fuel starvation in German aircraft. Control system design maintained pilot effectiveness during extended high-altitude operations that exhausted German aircrews. The manufacturing quality differences were becoming apparent through detailed examination of captured P-51 components.
American production methods achieved dimensional tolerances and surface finishes that exceeded German standards while maintaining production rates that German industry could not match. The industrial superiority enabled consistent aircraft performance that eliminated variations between individual aircraft that characterized German production. May 12, 1944. Major Georg Peter Ader achieved his final aerial victory, shooting down a P-51D over central Germany in what would be his last successful engagement against American escort fighters. His post-combat report provided detailed comparison of aircraft performance that documented American technical advantages while acknowledging the exceptional capabilities of P-51 pilots and aircraft systems. Ader's analysis identified specific tactical scenarios where Bf-109 performance remained competitive with P-51 capabilities. Low-altitude operations below 15,000 feet enabled German fighters to utilize superior initial acceleration and turning radius. High-speed diving attacks could achieve temporary energy advantages if initiated from optimal altitude and speed conditions. But these limited tactical windows required perfect execution under circumstances that American fighters could control through superior operational flexibility. The final combat statistics from spring 1944 operations provided mathematical confirmation of P-51's superiority over German fighter aircraft. American escort fighters achieved favorable exchange ratios in 89% of engagements, while maintaining bomber protection effectiveness that enabled strategic bombing campaign success. German fighter losses exceeded replacement capacity by margins that made continued operations unsustainable without fundamental changes in tactics, aircraft design, or strategic priorities. The Luftwaffe's most experienced fighter pilots had reached unanimous conclusions about American fighter superiority that would reshape German aviation strategy and tactical doctrine. Major Klaus Mietusch, who had initiated the analysis 6 months earlier, submitted final assessment that documented P-51 advantages in every category relevant to air combat effectiveness. His report recommended immediate development of advanced fighter aircraft capable of matching American performance or acceptance that German fighter aviation could no longer achieve air superiority over European skies. The stage was set for the most decisive phase of the air war over Europe, where German admissions of American fighter superiority would lead to desperate attempts at technological innovation and tactical adaptation. The mathematical reality of P-51 performance advantages had been established through combat experience and pilot testimony that could not be disputed or dismissed. German fighter aviation faced the choice between acknowledging defeat or developing revolutionary responses to American technical superiority that had fundamentally altered the balance of air power over Europe. June 6, 1944. D-Day brought the final confirmation of P-51 supremacy as German fighter pilots witnessed American air superiority so complete that Luftwaffe interceptors could barely reach the invasion beaches. Oberst Josef Prieler and Unteroffizier Heinz Wodarczyk flew the only 2 Focke-Wulf 190s available for immediate response to the Normandy landings, facing over 11,000 Allied aircraft, including 1,200 P-51 Mustangs, that had achieved such tactical dominance that German fighters operated as token resistance rather than effective opposition. The invasion demonstrated the strategic consequences of P-51 superiority more decisively than any previous engagement. American and British forces achieved complete air supremacy over the landing areas, while German fighters could manage only sporadic appearances that accomplished nothing beyond symbolic defiance. The mathematical equation was complete. P-51s had eliminated German fighter effectiveness so thoroughly that strategic operations could proceed without meaningful air opposition. Major Haynes Barr, commanding JG-1 and holder of 221 confirmed victories, submitted his final assessment of German fighter capabilities against P-51-equipped formations. His report acknowledged that continuing operations against American escorts represented tactical futility that wasted irreplaceable pilots and aircraft while achieving no strategic benefit. The frank admission from one of Germany's most successful fighter pilots marked the psychological end of Luftwaffe resistance to American air superiority. The testimony was devastating in its honesty. The American P-51 has rendered our traditional fighter tactics obsolete through superior performance in every category that determines air combat success. Our pilots can no longer achieve favorable attack positions, cannot maintain energy advantages, and cannot escape when engagements turn unfavorable. We are fighting with obsolete weapons against opponents whose technical superiority has eliminated our tactical options.
July 18, 1944. The largest air battle over Germany demonstrated conclusively that P-51s had achieved such superiority that German fighters could not meaningfully contest American bomber operations. Over 1,500 German interceptors attempted coordinated attacks against 2,000 American bombers protected by 800 P-51 escorts. The engagement resulted in 69 German aircraft destroyed, while American losses totaled 28 bombers and 6 fighters, an exchange ratio that made continued German resistance mathematically unsustainable. General-Major Adolf Galland, inspector of fighters and holder of 104 confirmed victories, witnessed the battle from JG-26's command center while monitoring radio communications between German fighter formations. Pilot reports described P-51s that maintained complete tactical control throughout the engagement, dictating altitude, speed, and timing of every combat encounter, while German fighters reacted to American initiatives rather than implementing their own tactical plans. The combat reports from July 18th provided technical documentation of P-51 advantages that German pilots could no longer overcome through skill or determination. Captain Chuck Yeager, flying his P-51D Glamorous Glen III, achieved 5 confirmed victories in a single engagement while maintaining escort responsibilities for bomber formations. His tactical success demonstrated American fighter capabilities that exceeded German performance while fulfilling primary mission requirements that German interceptors could not prevent. Hauptmann Franz Josef Behrenbrock, JG-6's Gruppenkommandeur with 117 confirmed victories, described P-51 performance that made traditional German tactics suicidal rather than merely difficult. American fighters could climb faster, turn tighter, accelerate quicker, and fly longer than any German aircraft while maintaining superior firepower and pilot coordination. The cumulative advantages eliminated every tactical option that had made German fighters successful during earlier war periods. August 24, 1944. The bombing of German aircraft factories demonstrated that P-51 escorts could protect strategic bombing operations against targets that German air defense considered absolutely vital to defend. Messerschmitt production facilities at Regensburg and Wiener Neustadt received devastating attacks, while German fighters achieved minimal intercept success despite concentrating maximum available strength for factory defense operations. The industrial implications were as significant as the tactical results.
American bombers protected by P-51 escorts were systematically destroying German aircraft production capabilities, while German fighters could not prevent the attacks that eliminated their replacement sources. The strategic equation created self-reinforcing cycles where German fighter strength declined while American air superiority increased through uncontested bombing of military-industrial targets. Major Walter Krupinski, JG-11's leading ace with 197 confirmed victories, reported that German fighter pilots were developing psychological problems that affected combat performance beyond technical disadvantages. Veterans with hundreds of combat sorties expressed declining confidence in missions that seemed designed to achieve pilot elimination rather than tactical success. The morale crisis reflected recognition that German fighter aviation could no longer accomplish its primary mission of defending German airspace. Technical analysis of captured P-51D aircraft revealed engineering solutions that German designers had considered theoretically impossible to achieve in practical aircraft. The cooling system maintained optimal engine performance at maximum power settings throughout extended high-altitude operations. The fuel system provided consistent flow during extreme maneuvering that caused starvation problems in German aircraft. The control systems remained responsive at speeds and altitudes where German fighters experienced handling degradation. September 11, 1944. The first jet fighter operations began as Messerschmitt Me-262s attempted to restore German air superiority through revolutionary technology that leaped beyond conventional piston engine limitations. Major Walter Nowotny led Commando Nowotny in the first operational missions designed to exploit jet propulsion advantages that could potentially overcome P-51 performance superiority through fundamental advances in aircraft design. But even the Me-262's revolutionary capabilities could not consistently defeat P-51s flown by experienced American pilots who adapted tactics to exploit jet aircraft vulnerabilities. Captain Chuck Yeager achieved the first confirmed Me-262 victory by an American pilot, demonstrating that tactical innovation could overcome technological advantages when applied by skilled pilots operating superior aircraft under favorable conditions. The psychological impact of Me-262 defeats was more devastating than the tactical losses. German pilots had hoped that jet technology would restore combat effectiveness against P-51 escorts, but American fighters achieved victories against Germany's most advanced aircraft through tactical superiority rather than technological matching. The defeats confirmed that German aviation could not overcome American advantages through technological development alone. October 14, 1944. Black Thursday brought the largest coordinated German fighter response to American bombing operations as every available interceptor attempted to achieve decisive results against targets that represented Germany's last industrial resources. The massive effort resulted in 59 German aircraft destroyed, while American losses totaled 28 bombers and 8 fighters. An exchange ratio that made continued German effort could not achieve exchange ratios necessary for sustainable operations. Major Erich Hartmann, the highest-scoring fighter pilot in aviation history, with 352 confirmed victories, participated in Black Thursday operations that confirmed his assessment of American fighter superiority. His post-mission report documented P-51 capabilities that exceeded German performance while maintaining operational endurance that enabled sustained combat throughout missions lasting over 6 hours. German fighters could not match American operational flexibility, regardless of individual pilot capabilities. The final statistical analysis was conclusive and devastating. German fighter aircraft achieved favorable exchange ratios in only 12% of engagements against P-51-equipped formations during the period from June through October 1944. American escort effectiveness enabled strategic bombing operations that achieved 94% target destruction while maintaining bomber loss rates below 3% per mission. The mathematical results proved that German fighter resistance had become strategically irrelevant. November 2, 1944. The oil campaign reached maximum intensity as P-51 escorts protected bombing operations against synthetic fuel production facilities that represented Germany's last petroleum resources. German fighters achieved minimal intercept success despite defending targets that were absolutely critical for continued military operations. The inability to protect vital industrial resources demonstrated complete German air defense failure. Oberst Hermann Graf, commanding JG-52 and holder of 212 confirmed victories, submitted detailed analysis of tactical options remaining for German fighter operations. His assessment concluded that continued resistance against P-51-equipped formations served no strategic purpose while consuming irreplaceable pilots and aircraft that could not be replaced under existing production constraints. The recommendation for defensive operations withdrawal represented acknowledgment of complete tactical defeat.
The petroleum shortage created additional operational limitations that compounded German fighter ineffectiveness. Reduced flight training hours produced inexperienced pilots who could not execute complex tactics necessary for engaging superior opponents. Limited fuel availability prevented sustained combat operations that required extended high-power engine operation. The resource constraints created self-reinforcing cycles of declining effectiveness that no tactical innovation could overcome. December 16, 1944. The Battle of the Bulge represented Germany's final major offensive operation, supported by the largest Luftwaffe effort since 1940, as over 800 fighter aircraft attempted to achieve tactical air superiority over the Ardennes battlefield. Operation Bodenplatte on January 1, 1945, saw German fighters achieve tactical surprise against Allied airfields while suffering unsustainable losses that eliminated remaining experienced pilots and operational aircraft. The Ardennes air operations demonstrated that German fighters could achieve local tactical success through surprise and concentration, but could not sustain effectiveness against P-51 responses that quickly restored American air superiority. German losses during the 10-day period exceeded 300 aircraft, including most remaining experienced pilots, eliminating Luftwaffe capabilities for future major operations. Major Georg Peter Eder, now commanding the remnants of JG-26, provided final tactical assessment of German fighter effectiveness against American air superiority. His report documented the complete evolution from German tactical dominance in 1940 through gradual erosion of advantages and ultimate acknowledgement that American technical superiority had eliminated German fighter effectiveness as a strategic factor in the war's outcome. January 14, 1945. The final major air battle over Germany saw American formations operating without meaningful German fighter opposition, as Luftwaffe's strength had been reduced below levels necessary for coordinated resistance. Individual German fighters attempted scattered attacks that achieved minimal results, while confirming American air supremacy was complete and uncontestable. The human cost of German fighter operations had become unsustainable beyond any strategic justification. Pilot losses exceeded training replacement capacity by factors that made continued operations equivalent to organized suicide rather than military action. The mathematical reality demonstrated that German fighter aviation had been eliminated as an effective military force through attrition that American industrial capacity could sustain indefinitely.
Technical evaluation of late-war German fighter development revealed desperate attempts to match P-51 performance through modifications that compromised aircraft reliability without achieving competitive capability. The Bf-109K4 incorporated design changes intended to improve high-altitude performance, but remained inferior to P-51 capabilities while suffering reduced operational reliability that limited mission effectiveness. The final testimonies from German fighter pilots provided unanimous acknowledgement of American technical superiority that could not be overcome through tactical innovation, pilot training, or industrial effort within German capabilities. Major Klaus Mietusch completed his analysis begun in September 1943 with conclusions that documented P-51 advantages in every performance category relevant to air combat success. February 25, 1945. The last coordinated German fighter operations attempted to defend synthetic fuel production facilities against American bombing attacks that would eliminate remaining petroleum resources. The missions resulted in complete tactical failure, as P-51 escorts maintained bomber protection effectiveness while achieving favorable exchange ratios that eliminated German fighter strength below minimum operational levels. The industrial analysis revealed that American P-51 production had exceeded 15,000 aircraft while maintaining quality standards that ensured consistent performance advantages over German fighters. German fighter production peaked at approximately 12,000 Bf-109s of all variants, but manufacturing quality declined significantly during final production periods due to material shortages and inexperienced workers that reduced aircraft performance below design specifications. The strategic implications extended beyond immediate tactical results to fundamental questions about aircraft design philosophy and industrial policy. American success demonstrated that mass production of technically superior aircraft could overwhelm traditional approaches emphasizing individual aircraft optimization and limited production quantities. The lesson influenced post-war aviation development throughout the world. April 7, 1945. The final German fighter operations consisted of individual aircraft attempting token resistance against overwhelming American air superiority. Jet aircraft, including Me-262s and Me-163s, achieved occasional tactical successes that demonstrated advanced technology capabilities but could not meaningfully affect strategic outcomes that had been determined by P-51 superiority over conventional German fighters. The psychological transformation was complete as German fighter pilots acknowledged that their aircraft had been rendered obsolete by American technical advances that could not be matched through German industrial capabilities. The admission represented professional recognition that tactical excellence could not overcome technological disadvantages of the magnitude that P-51s possessed over German fighters. Major Erich Ruderover completed his final mission on April 19, 1945, bringing his total confirmed victories to 222, while acknowledging that individual pilot achievements could not compensate for aircraft inferiority that made continued operations tactically futile. His final combat report provided detailed technical comparison documenting P-51 superiority in every measurable performance category. The mathematical conclusion was inescapable and devastating. American P-51 Mustangs had achieved technical superiority so complete that German fighter pilots, regardless of individual skill and experience, could not achieve tactical effectiveness necessary for strategic success. The admission represented professional acknowledgement that aircraft design and industrial capacity had determined air war outcomes more decisively than pilot training or tactical innovation. The legacy of German pilot testimonies about P-51 superiority influenced post-war aviation development as engineers and military planners studied technical factors that created American advantages. The detailed analysis provided by experienced combat pilots became foundation documents for understanding how industrial capacity and engineering excellence could achieve decisive military advantages through superior weapon system development. The final statistics revealed the magnitude of American technical achievement. P-51 Mustangs achieved air superiority over European skies through performance advantages that eliminated German tactical options while maintaining operational effectiveness that enabled strategic bombing success. German fighter pilots, among the most experienced and skilled aviators in military history, provided unanimous testimony that American engineering had created aircraft that fundamentally outclassed German fighters in every aspect of combat performance. The transformation was permanent and decisive. German pilots had admitted that the P-51 Mustang represented technical advancement that rendered their aircraft obsolete through superior engineering rather than incremental improvements. The acknowledgement established precedents for understanding how industrial capacity and technological innovation could determine military outcomes more conclusively than individual skill or tactical doctrine. The lessons learned from German pilot testimonies about P-51 superiority influenced post-war aviation development for decades, demonstrating that technical excellence combined with mass production could achieve overwhelming strategic advantages that traditional military approaches could not counter effectively. The petroleum shortage created additional operational limitations that compounded German fighter ineffectiveness. Reduced flight training hours produced inexperienced pilots who could not execute complex tactics necessary for engaging superior opponents. Limited fuel availability prevented sustained combat operations that required extended high-power engine operation. The resource constraints created self-reinforcing cycles of declining effectiveness that no tactical innovation could overcome. December 16, 1944. The Battle of the Bulge represented Germany's final major offensive operation, supported by the largest Luftwaffe effort since 1940, as over 800 fighter aircraft attempted to achieve tactical air superiority over the Ardennes battlefield.